Ever feel like building wealth is just impossible? Like you're pushing a giant rock up a hill and getting absolutely nowhere? Well, you're not wrong. That feeling is 100% real. And today, we're going to dig into the math that proves a really strange financial truth, that grinding out your first $100,000 is actually the hardest part. Yeah, you heard me. After that, building to $1 million actually gets easier.
I know, it sounds completely backward, right? How on earth can a smaller number be the bigger challenge? But look, the physics of money are, well, they're kind of strange. And really getting your head around this one single idea is what separates the people who quit from the ones who go on to build real, life-changing wealth.
And hey, this isn't just some theory I cooked up. This is some blunt, no-nonsense advice from the late, great Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's legendary partner. He knew that there's this tipping point, a specific moment where the whole game of building wealth just completely changes. So let's break down exactly why he was so incredibly right.
To really see what Munger was talking about, we've got to look at the two forces that build your wealth, your own savings and the market's growth. And trust me, in the beginning, it is not a fair fight. So here's exactly why the start feels like such a crawl. You see, the magic of compounding is happening, but its effect is so tiny on a small portfolio that it's practically invisible. Early on, you are the entire engine. You're doing all the heavy lifting. Okay, let's put some real numbers to this pain, shall we? Imagine you invest $500 a month for 5 solid years. You've scrimmed, you've saved, you've put in $30,000 of your own money. And what does the market give you back for all that effort? A measly $4.5 grand. Seriously, all that discipline and it barely buys you a used car. It's incredibly disheartening.
And just look at this balance of power. A staggering 85% of your early portfolio comes directly from your own sweat and sacrifice. At this stage, the market is like a lazy junior partner who barely even shows up for work.
So you look at these numbers, and it's totally natural to think, this is a joke. This isn't working. You've sacrificed for years for what feels like pennies, and you start thinking about all the fun stuff you could have bought instead. This, right here, is the danger zone. It's a psychological trap, and it's the exact moment most people throw in the towel, right before the magic is about to happen.
But if you can just push through that danger zone, everything changes. You hit the tipping point where the math finally starts working for you instead of against you.
Here's what I mean. At the very start, let's say you get a great 10% return on a $3,000 portfolio. You know what that is? $300. That's not life-changing. You could probably save that much just by eating at home for a month. Your ability to save absolutely crushes what your investments can earn. But now, look what happens when you hit that $100,000 mark. Suddenly, even a modest 7% return means $7,000 in a single year. I mean, just think about that for a second. For a lot of people, that's more than they can physically save in 12 months. All of a sudden, your money isn't just sitting there. It's working just as hard as you are.
This is the goal, right here, the wealth acceleration point. It's that magic milestone where your growth flips from being driven mostly by your savings to being driven mostly by your investments. Once you cross this line, you've essentially hired an employee who works 24/7 to make you richer.
And after you pass that point, the growth isn't just a straight line anymore. It becomes exponential. This is that famous snowball effect everyone talks about.
And this timeline, man, it just shows the acceleration perfectly. That first 100 grand, it takes 8 grueling years. But the next one, only 5. And the one after that, just 3 years. Then 2. Before you know it, you're adding $100,000 to your net worth every couple of years, pretty much just for existing. The heavy lifting is finally over.
Okay, so we get the why. The math is tough, the psychology is brutal. So what's the playbook to actually get there? Well, for this first phase, the strategy is super simple, and it has absolutely nothing to do with being an investing genius.
It's all about brute force, just getting you to that wealth acceleration point as fast as you possibly can. Step 1, accept that this is a savings game. Your savings rate is everything. Step 2, adopt a temporary extreme mindset. Look, this isn't your forever lifestyle, it's a sprint to a goal. And 3, pull every lever you can. Maximize your income and invest every single windfall. I'm talking bonuses, tax refunds, everything.
So here is the most important thing I want you to take away from this. Forget about trying to pick the next Tesla or timing the market perfectly. That is a total distraction. In this early phase, the only thing that actually moves the needle is how much cash you can force into your investment account. That's it, period.
And yeah, I know what you're thinking, but $100,000 isn't what it used to be. And you know what? You're right. Maybe for you, that magic number is 200,000 today, but the exact number doesn't matter. The principle is timeless. The physics of money don't change, so don't let inflation become an excuse to not even start the climb.
So to put this all together, let's use a really simple mental model for your wealth building journey, and we'll break it down into 3 distinct phases.
Okay, so first up is what I call the muscle phase. This is you from 0 to your first 100,000. Your only job here is to build saving habits and crank up your income. Then you hit the snowball phase, where you just gotta stay invested and let that beautiful compounding do its thing. And finally, you get to the acceleration phase, where your investment returns are doing pretty much all the heavy lifting. So if you're in phase 1 right now, just remember, this is the hard part that makes everything else possible.
So I'll leave you with this question. Which phase are you in right now? The muscle, the snowball, or the acceleration? Because knowing where you are is key to focusing on the right things. And hey, if you're in that first phase, remember this. The struggle isn't a sign that you're failing. Not at all. It's just the non-negotiable price of admission for the much, much easier journey that's waiting for you.